me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. Read me romance. You could take a look in a book, that's fine. Or you could sit back, relax, and unwind and read me romance. Read me romance.
Welcome back, lady listeners.
Hey, lady listeners. Welcome to a new week at Read Me Romance. Woo! We have a brand new book from Jenna Kent. It's called Secret Admirer. And I was just telling Mel before we started to record how just sweet and kind and appreciative Jenna Kent was when we talked about having her on the podcast. And she writes lesbian romances. And she said, that's been a tough genre for her to break into. And just in the romance industry alone, I can empathize with how difficult it is to stand out and to get your name out there and stuff. And we're thrilled to have her on the podcast with us this week and to talk about her books and everything she writes. So we'll do that in a little bit. So the book she brought us again is Secret Admirer, and it just looks adorable. So we'll talk about that in a minute. One thing I want to mention is last week we discussed the Kobo Plus platform as an alternative to Kindle Unlimited. So on last week's podcast, I talked about it. Kobo Plus, it's $7.99 a month. And it is super beneficial for authors. So, if you read a lot of like indie authors, ones we have on the podcast, stuff like that, if they publish on Kobo, they don't have to be exclusive to Kobo like Amazon Kindle Unlimited does. So if you're familiar with Kindle Unlimited, is it $10.99 a month? I can't remember. I have no idea how much it is a month now. Do you? Do you know how much Kindle Unlimited is?
$9.99, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I wasn't sure if it was $9.99 or $10.99. I can't remember. But however much it is a month. But if you're an author and you put your book in Kindle Unlimited, you cannot publish it anywhere else. That's against the rules. But with Kobo Plus, you can publish it in their exclusive library, but also have it on all retailers. Like you can have it there and have it on Amazon, Apple, Barnes & Noble, everywhere else. So it's so super, super beneficial for authors to be in a Kobo program. So the more readers that are in it and the more support it gets, the more that it creates a really healthy and profitable environment so that indie authors can continue to self-publish. Because there's just been a lot of, and you guys, if you've been on the podcast long enough, with accounts getting taken down and books getting banned and it being harder for self-published authors to cultivate a living through self-publishing, it has become more difficult with more hoops to jump through with Amazon publishing. So Kobo Plus is an alternative platform and it's really awesome. And since talking about it last week, we had several people that messaged about it that were like, they didn't know it was a thing. Like, this is a really cool program.
And there's a ton of books on there. Like all the indie people that you read are like on there. If they're not on Kindle Unlimited and they're selling wide, and it's only $7.99. All of our books are in it.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to go on a binge of us, you should definitely get that.
We got 200 books on there, people. I don't know what else you want. But seriously, yeah. I mean,
so no, there was a ton. I scrolled through them and I was surprised at how many. I was like, oh shit, like all of these people are in it.
Well, even when I was doing the ads this week, like posting up the ads that you sent me and everything you created, I was looking at like the Katie Rios book, like the new one was on there. And oh my God, what was the other one we had the other day? I can't think of the name of the author. Oh, it was Christine DiPetrillo. She was on there. Like it was, as I'm going through and seeing them, I'm like, oh, they're on Kobo. They're on Kobo. I was just surprised at how many were on there.
It was like everybody that's not in Kindle Unlimited that I read was on there. So I'm like, it's just like, I might as well have both subscriptions.
Yeah.
So I get this is all I pay a month. I mean, I had got Katie's book on there, and that was what, $3.99, I think.
Yeah. So that's like half the thing because it's only $7.99. Yeah. So that's the thing too, is like it makes it so much easier to budget, even if you're doing KU and the Kobo Plus subscription. I mean, it makes it so much easier because I don't know anybody that's exclusive to Apple because there's really not incentive to be exclusive to Apple or Barnes and Noble, to only be on those platforms, because neither one of them do like a subscription service. I don't believe like that.
I think Apple tried to get people to release early on them.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think that
was back in the
lasted
day.
very long. Yeah.
No, I think there was incentive to publish it there first, but I don't know that that benefits anyone, especially if you're like authors that are trying to list, like hit New York Times or USA Today. You got to release it everywhere all at once to get those numbers. And Apple just wasn't conducive to that. But so as far as I know, the only subscription, like unlimited reading services, are through Kobo and KU. So yeah, I just think that would be so much easier to budget per month by doing it that way. So it's just, it's really cool. So I just wanted to mention that again, and maybe I will again in the future too, just as a reminder. But you know,
I should make a post about it for us to post too.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I'll put it on my list.
You know what? Especially if it's like you could put the podcast authors that we've had that have been in it, because I'm always surprised at pleasantly surprised, I should say, not in a negative way, but in a positive way, at the authors that we have that are wide. I think it's awesome when I see self-published authors going wide, because it does take some guts. It takes some time to cultivate those followings on other platforms. But once you do, it's such a solid foundation. So good for them for going for it. The other thing I want to mention is I need to post a picture of my guest room right now on how it looks with all the book box shit in it. Because it's literally like, it's a wall of boxes, just like a whole wall of them. So it's all the stuff that's going in the book boxes for this summer. We are waiting, per usual. This is like our 4th year doing this.
I know.
I think this is our 4th book box. Yes, it is. It's our 4th set of books. That's how I had to remember. But so yeah, our 4th year doing this, and once again the prints are delayed. It happens every year. But the prints are always the last thing we get and the last thing to approve. So we got one set and they were a little bit off, so we had to order another one, but they're coming. And as soon as we get those, we can start stuffing boxes and throw them up for sale. So I just want to remind everyone that our Patreon subscribers will be the first to know when the book boxes go live. Like when that day is coming, when they go live, they'll be the first to get notified, followed by our newsletter subscribers. So if you want to be the first to know, you can get on our Patreon, and there's also lots of other benefits to it other than the book box, but a lot of people are doing it just for the book box. But on our Patreon, mail loads, ebooks and audiobooks every week, and all kinds of great stuff. So make sure you check that out. I don't even know how many ebook or audiobooks are on there now.
There's at least over 100, at least.
Yeah, I would have to say like there's several.
I feel like I've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's been over 100 for a while. We really should go back and look, because I think we're close to like 400.
Well, if you want to know what might be on there,
what?
So when you go on there, it'll give you samples of each audio if you want, but you can also go on the Read Me Romance website, and it'll say audiobooks at the top tab. One of the tabs will be, or at the top actually, there's a Patreon. If you click it, the new Patreon book pops up there every week. So all those books are in a list on there. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, so you can click that, and you can actually scroll through this and click one into it, and it'll take you right to the link to that audiobook in Patreon.
That's freaking awesome. I had no idea it did that. So there you go, lady. Listen, we're all learning today. We're all learning.
So yeah, so go to the website. I think it's right at the top. Yeah, Patreon. And it's going to list all the books. Just like it does for audiobooks when they're coming up every week for us and stuff. Yep.
So yeah, you get all the audiobooks, because and on podcasting apps, like wherever you're listening to this right now, podcasting apps have a limit of 300 episodes. And because we've been doing this since 2018, we have a fuck ton of audiobooks. So it's generally about 45 books a year. And we've been doing it for how many years now? I can't do that math. So somebody can do that math and let us know. Thanks, guys. So yeah, so it's a lot of audiobooks, and we have more than 300 episodes. So once those are on your podcast streaming apps, like Apple Podcasts, for instance, once we reach the threshold, the older episodes fall off and they can't be listened to on there. So instead of just not having them available, we've put them all on the Patreon. So that's where you can go listen to all the past episodes without commercials or interruptions. It's just the audiobooks. And then we have authors, past authors who have been on the podcast, who will send us ebooks. We have a newsletter that we send out to them, like that's specifically for past authors of the podcast, that will say, hey, if you have an ebook you want to send us, we'll be happy to share it with our Patreon subscribers. And almost always we get tons of responses back from that email, and then we'll load them into the Patreon. So you'll get tons of free ebooks as well. So make sure you check that out. And like I said, if you're subscribed to the newsletter, you'll also get a notification when the book boxes, when they're coming and what time they'll go live. So, and we'll give more details in our Read Me Romance headquarters, like in our Facebook group. I'll just give more details as we get closer, just so you guys know. It hasn't happened yet, obviously, and it probably won't happen. What's today? God, it's the end of May. Jeez, already. I would say it'd probably be like mid-ish June by the time I think they're ready. So we'll just we'll shoot for that.
We're going into June. Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Can you? I was literally like, my kid, my youngest daughter, who she'll be 10 this summer. She is out of school finally. She had her last day last week. Both our kids had their last day on the same day.
Mhm.
And my oldest one, my 13-year-old, her last day is Friday. So she's still got a couple days. But I was looking at their schedules for the summer, and I was just like, oh my God, when am I going to do shit? And it's like something.
You
like
always have a
day.
huge busy schedule.
I do. I actually went on our shared Alexa Riley calendar today and make sure I had like my vacations lined up, because my niece is graduating from high school, and I'm really excited. She's the first one out of all the grandkids, and she turned 18. And so for like an 18th birthday / graduation present, my sisters and I are taking her to Mexico. So we called it feral aunt vacation. Vacation with the feral
Will she get
aunt.
to drink and stuff?
Yeah, she will, because she can drink there, and she's with us too. And we're at like, it's an all-inclusive. We're just the four of us are going. It's me, my sister Sam, and LB. And then my niece Audrey, and the four of us are going to an all-inclusive. We're sharing a room, and we're just gonna drink by the pool and just gossip, and just get some sun, listen to some music, talk shit. And I said, like, I'm so looking forward to it. So that's like, I was like, it's a birthday present to myself as well. And I'm going to Book Bonanza. That's happening too in June, which I'm really excited about. So if you're going to Book Bonanza, come say hey. I'll scribble in your book if you want.
Someone tried to talk me into going to that last week. I was like,
I think it was me when I was like, you sure you don't want to go? Because I asked you before. I said, you want to come? And you're like, where is that? I said, it's in Texas. You're like, where in Texas? You don't remember that when you were like, where? I said, it's in Grapevine. It's near. I said,
oh,
Celia. Remember I said, Celia's going.
Yeah, she's the one that was trying to get me to go.
No, that's what I said her name was the first one that popped up under the authors, because her last name starts with an A. So I looked at her, I was like, oh, there's Celia. She's going. I was like, I wonder if Mel's going. And that's why I asked you. You were like, I don't even know where that is. I was like,
she asked, well, I actually thought she was going to ask me to babysit. She was like, what are you doing on such and such? And then she was like, oh, do you want to come do Book Bonanza? I was like, I'd rather babysit. Because she would want me to like help her. Like, I like to go to book signing as like a signer. But as somebody that's like going to help and I'm like forced to interact, I get anxiety. Yeah. That shit gives me anxiety. When I can just like free float around, I'm good.
Yeah.
But when I think when I'm like, oh, you got to talk to them. You have to talk to each person to where it's not organic. I like it to be organic at book signings. And then I talk to everybody. I'll be down in the bar talking to everybody when it's organic.
Well, the best part about going with Ruby Dixon is like, I mean, she's insane. Like, her tables are crazy, but she also has 3 assistants. So the best part is that I get to walk around and say hey to friends too on there. So that was kind of nice. Like some of the author friends, our author friends that are going to be there, I get to say hey to. So So that's really fun. So I do enjoy that aspect of it. And I like going to dinner with them and stuff after the events are over. You know, that was always our favorite part with me
Yeah.
and you. It was like in the room afterwards or at dinner or in the lobby. Those are always the best parts about
I
book
love the
signings.
lobby. That was always my
Mhm.
favorite part, was
Yep.
just organically
Yep.
talking to people. And I'm not even a super, super social person, but it's
Mhm.
just such an easy place to talk to people because you're like, we're all here for the same thing. And they're like, oh, who are you excited to see? What
Mhm.
did you read? And then once you just
Yeah.
start talking about that, everything flows out easy.
Mhm. You just grab a cocktail and then you already have something in common.
Yep.
So you just sit down, have a drink, and then just start talking about romance books you love. It was always so easy and fun. I really love that part of it too. That's still my favorite part about signings. And I enjoy going as a reader to signings. Yeah. Even more so than as a signing author. But
yeah, I think I would enjoy the signing author more if I didn't feel like there was a pressure. Like it feels like a weird pressure. Like I'm like,
to
oh my
meet
God.
expectations. You want
To
them
meet
to like you.
expectations because
Yeah.
I've been disappointed before.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to like me not have been like happy enough or whatever. I want to give everybody their best experience. So it's like a pressure.
Yeah, yeah, because you want it to be a good time and for them to feel like it's worth it. Same. But it is really nice going as an assistant too, though, because the pressure's not on you to be great, and people are still really happy to see you
When they
So,
realize who you are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Like, not even if they don't know who Alexa Riley is, but they don't know who I am. They're happy to see me because there's I'm at Ruby Dixon's table and I have books, and they're like, "Yeah, I just
I bet you're so easy to. I bet people don't even have to see you to be like, that's Leah, just hearing you.
Yeah, like I hear her voice. That's weird. Yep, for sure.
I never
Mhm.
even thought about that with the podcast because we didn't do a lot of signings after we started the podcast.
No, that people
So
would hear
people would
you and
recognize
recognize
your
your
voice a
voice.
lot more.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we get 20,000 something people a week or something listen to this podcast. They're probably like, "Hey, I know that voice." When I'm just like screaming it across the room. So yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And if you happen to come, it will be fun to see you too. So, but you know, I get it if you don't want to. It's a big sign-in. It's one of the
It is a
biggest.
really big one.
Yeah, and this is the last year they're doing it too. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. So this is the last year to do Book Bonanza. But oh well. So if you're going, hit me up. I'll be there. Say hey. Come over to Ruby Dixon's table, or just find me around the lobby, just saying hey to people. Because I was so happy I got to see everybody last time and just give hugs and just be like, oh my God, it's been so long. Samantha Chase, I actually posted up on my Facebook page. I posted a picture of me last year in Ruby's t-shirt, and I was like, Ruby begged me. I was like, she begged and pleaded with me to come to Book Bonanza again this year. I was like, okay, maybe it was me who did the begging, but that's not the point. I was like, but I said, who am I going to see? Am I going to see any friends there? And Samantha Chase commented, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be there. I'll get to see you. And I was like, oh, I love her so much. She is just the sweetest lady.
Is she?
Yes, she is she was the one that when the first time that you and I met when I was going to Vegas, she was on the plane with me. She was going to the Love in Vegas signing.
Okay.
Yeah, because we actually ended up she lives in Eastern North Carolina where I was at the time, and we both took the same flight out there, and I realized who she was, and I got on the plane. I was like, that's Samantha Chase. Yeah, and she's just so sweet. It was so cute. The last time I talked to her, she had one of her books made in a Hallmark movie, and she was so excited about it.
That
I
is
know.
not shocking to me that
No,
she has
I
a
was
whole
like,
time.
no, I was like, she is quintessential Hallmark movie books. If
Yeah.
you want like feel good, sweet, love,
She's very
happily ever.
clickable. I actually thought
Yes.
that like last week because she just had a release.
Yes. Yes, she is. That her books are very much like that, like swoony, sweet, you know what you're gonna get, happily ever after, just adorable. So yeah. Anyways. I think that was everything. Oh, one thing I want to mention. I started this show and have you seen it? It's called Under the Bridge on Hulu, and it's based on a true story. Have you heard about this? I did not know anything about it, but I listened to LB's podcast, Ooh Girl, and it's her and her friend Kayla, and they talk about like pop culture, current event stuff. And LB started watching this show, and it just came out this year, but I hadn't seen it anywhere. She was the first person for me to hear about it. But what it is this is in the year 1997. This woman goes back to her hometown, and there's like a halfway house there, or not halfway house. There's like a girls' home that's there for like the youth or whatever, the girls, and they call them the BIC girls. That's what the cops call them, because they said they're disposable, like the lighters, like the Bic lighters. And so, but like stuff happens to these girls. And so she's there writing a book on the girls and the things that happen to them and stuff. And while she's there, there's a murder. Our girl goes missing. I don't know what's happened yet, but I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in, and it's really good. And I didn't realize that it's based on a book that was this author really wrote it based on a true story. So it's really, really good. It's got I think her name is Lily Gladstone. Is that right? She was the one that was in
What's it called
Killers
again? Under the what?
Under the Bridge.
Okay.
And it's like the lady that was in Killers of the Flower Moon, the indigenous woman that was the lead, and that she was nominated for like best actress. She plays like the cop in it. And but yeah, it just came out. It's really, really well done. Kevin and I were watching it last night. He said it reminded him of Sharp Objects. Do you remember that show on HBO? It was based on the book as well. It's not Gillian Flynn. I don't think he wrote that. I can't remember who wrote that book, but it's like what did I say? It reminded me of kind of like did you watch the HBO True Detective this year? Did you watch that? Okay, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that. So if you're listening and you've seen these shows, you know what I'm saying. It's like a Gillian Flynn book, sort of thing. Like Gone Girl vibes a little bit, like a little sinister, a little dark. There's some fucked up characters. It's good. So it's really well done. So I'm hoping there'll be a good payoff in the end. LB says there is. She really enjoyed it. So
Okay.
So yeah, I was just going to mention that too. So yeah, that was all I had. I wanted to make sure I talked about that. Oh, and before I forget, before we talk about Jenna Kent and Secret Admirer, Alexa Riley has a brand new release, just came out today. It's called Wild Card. If you're listening to this now, you've seen it out, but make sure you go get it. If you don't know about it, go get it. So
I think it's got a little bit of a daddy feel to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I love it. It was so fun to write that one. It was dirty. I was like, do you realize these people haven't been together like 12 hours yet? And
I realized that when I read your book bio. I was like, oh.
Right. I was
because she was actually interesting. She was a character that was just born in the second book that was there.
She kind of came out of nowhere. She got caught up in a kidnapping, so she got kidnapped along with the person they were trying to kidnap,
steal some money.
Yeah, that she was trying to rob. And so, but then in book 3, she ends up getting taken by this Fed guy and locked up in a hotel. And then 24 hours later, he's like trying to get her pregnant. No big deal. Oh my God. It's so fun. Yeah, I was just telling Abby Knox literally like a few hours ago. I said, I swear, it's like I need a book to have something. So when I write a book, I need something to be so out of pocket and so fucked up that it stays with me. That's how I remember a book I wrote.
I was like, I know I'm going to get downvoted on this on Reddit. So there was a girl, she was like, I'm worried about my husband. I guess our high school sweethearts. And she goes, I came into his work to bring him lunch. I do that sometimes. And she goes, one of his employees said hi and then asked how I was doing. And he came out and snapped at him and said, don't talk to my wife. And he wrote him up.
Panty dropper.
And I was like, I'm going to get in so much trouble because everybody's so serious sometimes on Reddit.
Yes.
I was like, I think if this was, I said it in the comment, I was like, if this was a book, everybody would be eating it up. These comments would be totally different.
I'm telling you, the dick sucking he would have got that night.
And some girl was like,
hot. That's so fucking hot.
And I was like, and then yesterday, and I knew I was like, I'm going to get in trouble for this. A girl goes, my husband, my boyfriend should I leave my boyfriend? He gets turned on when we watch movies and girls get choked. And I said, I get turned on when I get choked. I got so many downvotes. somebody goes, how does your husband feel about it? I said, I don't know. It's my kink, not his. But I'm sure it's
Right?
different as being the person that's getting the choking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. I guess if they really want to do it, okay, but like, I'm not mad at it.
I mean, it probably is a red flag if your boyfriend's getting turned on to choking people, but I'm like, it's
I don't-
okay because it's me
Is
that
it
wants to be
though?
choked.
I was gonna say, I mean, what if you like it? Then it's not a red flag. I feel like that's a neutral flag for me. Okay, I'm gonna need further discussion on if that's a red or green. I have more questions. That's what the choking thing brings, more questions. The
It
work
does.
thing, oh, that's green all day, girl. That is green all day. Like, let him be jealous. Yes.
But God, I bet that would be really hard. Like, I wonder how I'd feel if, like, my husband's so, like, he just wants normal sex is fine, but he'll do anything. If I
Yeah,
ask, I'm like, let's
of
do
course.
this. I wonder how it'd be if he was like, no, I want to rape you. Like, seriously, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if I just, like, today, if he said
Yeah.
it, I wouldn't care. I've been with him for 18 years. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But if we've been dating for, like, 3 months, I'd be like, you want to what?
Yeah, there's a time and place for that. But wasn't it Chris Rock who talked about that, where he says, like, you got to be as freaky as your girl is. So it's like, if she's into it, you got to be into it. So it's like, even if you're not, I think it was him who talked about that, where it's something about, like, she wants to do some crazy fucked up shit, you got to do crazy fucked up shit, you know. So yeah.
No, me and my husband always joke because I like dirtier stuff like that. I mean, you know, some of the stuff, but I'm also a delicate flower, so you have to choke me sweetly. You can only like love tap me.
Yes, exactly. When I say hit me, it's not hard.
I'm still a delicate flower.
No.
Pretty much.
Yep, I can see that. Okay. So yeah, good to know all the greens and red flags. Got it. Well, Jenna Kent, let's see what you got. You got any choking in this? I'm just teasing. So Jenna Kent has brought us the book Secret Admirer this week. Jenna Kent, coffee lover and book lover of all things romance, with a sweet spot for masculine dominant femmes, resides in Wayne, Michigan, just about 20 miles from Detroit, Michigan. Jenna is a steamy lesbian romance author of fast-paced, insta-love romance. Expect them to be over the top, absurdly ridiculous, but always with a happy ending. She has a reputation for being an over-the-top author and unapologetically crafting the wildest love stories. You won't find realism in her writing, just a bit of absurdity and humor for a good chuckle, but also with a promise of a happy ending, which I love. Like, I love that she just leans into the absurdity and humor and the fun of romance. That is what I adore most about romance, is the fun of it. That's what keeps me in this genre. That's what keeps the chokehold on me in this genre.
Hold on you.
Yep. I'm getting choked out on that.
He has fated mates too.
Oh,
that's actually
God.
what I'm gonna, because I want to read one of these books. I downloaded one of the first fated mates ones.
Yes. Okay, good. I love that shit. You'll have to tell me how it is. All right, so I'll read you the book blurb for A Secret Admirer. Chase, I'm the wealthy owner of a major fast food franchise, but I've made mistakes that tarnish our reputation. To make things right, I go undercover as a store manager, never expecting to become obsessed with Sophia, a beautiful cashier. Though she despises me at first, I anonymously send her love letters, longing for the day I can reveal my feelings. Just when Sophia discovers I'm her secret admirer, passion ignites between us. Now I'll stop at nothing to make her mine forever. Sophia, I'm just a cashier trying to get by, but my world changes when the arrogant owner goes undercover at my store. Though I can't stand her at first, I'm seduced by poetic love letters from a secret admirer. Just as I realize the admirer is none other than my awful boss, we surrender to our desires. She wants to possess me in every way, but I accept the love of a woman. But can I accept the love of a woman who deceived me? One thing's certain, she'll never let me go. I love it. Jenna Kent loves to write about dominant women while using the over-the-top, obsessive, possessive tropes. Secret Admirer, that you're about to listen to, is connected to her Women-Loving Women Billionaire series. They can all be read as standalones, but each story features an over-the-top, possessive, butch, masculine billionaire lesbian. She calls them quick reads since they are between 10,000 and 14,000 words. So generally about around the size of a podcast book, a little bit longer. Her newest release is from the Working Women series. It's a blue-collar lesbian insta-love, which I'm obsessed with that. A blue-collar lesbian insta-love. I don't know why. That just sounded so hot. It's called Keeping Alyssa, I think Alessa, Alyssa. The book in the series can be read as a standalone, but characters from the previous book pop up in the series, so you can go back and read their love stories. So that one's called the Working Women series. If you want to read more from Jenna Kent for free, check out Bookworm on her website, and we'll have the link below in the show notes to get to that. And then check out her Facebook page. It's Sapphic Insta Love Books with Jenna Kent. So JennaKent. And like I said, we'll have all of this in the show notes down below and on our social media and on our website, Read Me Romance at readmeromance.com. And then you can find more discussion in our group, Read Me Romance Headquarters on Facebook. I think that's everything.
Let's send them in.
Let's do it.
We'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye.
This is Secret Admirer by Jenna Kent, read for you by Tessa Stavers. Chapter 1. Chase. I scowl at the television screen, feeling disappointed and irritated by today's coverage on bad businesses. With store chains across the nation, Chicken Avenue is a nationwide franchise. However, due to some horrible management practices in a few locations in Detroit, I now have a terrible reputation as a business owner. The workers there have been underpaid, overworked, and downright abused, all for the sake of higher profits. Instead of enjoying a nice summer day on my boat on Lake Michigan, I find myself putting on an apron and pretending to be a store manager at one of the problematic locations. Lori, my executive assistant, has been my lifeline through this scandal. She advised me to go undercover and get to the bottom of the issues in hopes of repairing my company's reputation. A workers' strike is never good for business, especially for a food chain like ours. It's bad enough that most food chains have a stigma of high turnover rates, low pay, and bad management. These were things I never wanted to deal with when my parents passed the company down to me, yet here I am, facing them head-on. When my parents opened the first Chicken Avenue 20 years ago in Midtown Detroit, they never expected it to grow into what it is today, a billion-dollar empire. We are the go-to place for fried chicken all over the country. My mother's secret recipe for crispy chicken is unmatched. They've retired and passed the reins to me, their only daughter. But I let my privileged ignorance consume me, and now our family name has been tainted with a reputation like most fast food chains. Bad business. Lori flips on the lights and strides to the fryers, checking to see if they're properly warming up. The business opens in an hour, and as the newly appointed manager, I've made it my rule to ensure everything is in order before the staff arrives. But there's one glaring problem. I suck at managing. I have no clue how anything works here, not even the damn registers. And I hate it. This store is always disgustingly greasy, no matter how long I've been working to clean it. The tile floors are torture on my feet after standing for hours on end. The heat and exhaustion are suffocating, and the fast-paced nature of this place is brutal. And don't even get me started on inventory. It's a never-ending nightmare of too much or not enough. I try to be more hands-on than ever with this business, but all I really want is to go back to my fantasy of being rich and carefree. But ignoring my responsibilities could lead to losing everything my parents worked so hard to build. All right, everything is turned on. Should I set up the salad bar? Lori asks, smoothing her hand over her apron. She has experience in food service, and I'm grateful for it. She is the reason I'm here. Lori believed that by having hands-on experience with the company I inherited, I would become more empathetic toward the employees. At first, I wasn't. But even with boots on the ground and dealing firsthand with the demanding labor of this business, my privilege continues to cloud my judgment. That is, until my eyes first land on Sophia, a cashier working at this location. She is a vision, the embodiment of perfection. Her sparkling brown eyes gleam like stars in a dark sky, luring me closer with their alluring depths. Disheveled strands of chocolate hair fall gracefully down her neck, tempting me to run my fingers through them. Every inch of her stunning figure, from her ample breasts to her curvaceous hips, captivates my heart and ignites an overwhelming craving within me. The way she moves and her dazzling smile as she greets customers even in moments of frustration. I am completely mesmerized by this woman. She is perfection and the sole reason I step foot into this building every day. Sophia is the reason I stay. She hates me and can't stand looking at me, and I understand why. I haven't been a good boss to her. My eyes drift to the love letter I write for her daily, filled with poetry and sweet words, just to get her attention. I pull out my favorite pen and lean over the table to sign it as Secret Admirer, knowing she'll never accept a gift from me. Sophia despises me, and I don't blame her. But the smile on her face when she receives another present, another love letter adorned with flowers, cards, stuffed animals, and chocolates, is a gift in itself for me. All I want is to see Sophia smile. That's all that matters. Lori walks into the office, hands on her hips, scolding me with a grin. Yes, I'm being foolish and should confess my feelings to her. But what good would that do now? Sophia will likely burn everything if she finds out it was from me. Lori grabs the employee schedule clipboard to see who's working today and exclaims, "You should just ask the woman out already. You're drowning her in gifts and she doesn't even know who you are." I glare at her in response. If I had known she wouldn't burn everything I've given her, I would have done things differently. I snap at her, and she giggles, lifting her eyes from the clipboard to smile at me. You've got it bad for Sophia. She's a sweet woman. I'm sure she'd give you a chance if you step up. Do we need to have this conversation? I growl, my frustration evident. She just laughs at me, unfazed by my intimidation tactics. Don't you have work to do at the office? I snap, trying to regain control. Lori is the only one on my staff who isn't afraid of me, and she has put me in my place a few times during our work relationship. Except for Sophia. She's also put me in my place a few times, but I don't mind it. She can put me in my place as much as she wants. Chapter 2. Sophia. Pulling into my parking space at the restaurant, I park my car and cut the engine, resting my head against the driver's seat. Mentally preparing myself for another 8-hour shift at this job, I consider quitting, but realize that's not an option right now. Money is tight, and I can't afford to lose steady income. Despite my disdain for Chase as a manager, I can't help but be drawn to this woman's beauty. Her hazel eyes sparkle in the light, her toned arms exuding strength and power. Every time she speaks, her husky voice sends shivers down my spine. Her short mohawk is usually pulled back into a bun, revealing her plump lips and soft caramel skin. As much as I despise her, I can't deny the pull she has on me. If she commanded it, I'm sure my panties would hit the floor without hesitation. Chase is a rich brat. I don't even know why she's working at a place like this. Who drives a Bentley Bentayga, a premium SUV in this area? No one I know, and I live here. This is a poor, lower-class area. She's probably going to get robbed if she keeps coming here in that car. I've already come to the assumption of why she's working here. Her parents are trying to teach her a lesson, threatening to cut her off if she doesn't straighten up. So now I'm stuck having to deal with her. But then I heard her talking to Lori, an executive manager for the owner of the company. Apparently, Chase won't be around much longer, and I couldn't be happier. Right? The truth is, I can't help feeling a little sad that I won't see her again. I'm not sure when her last day is, but I know it's coming soon. She's already training the new manager who will take her place. As I sit in my car, I open the center console and pull out the love letters from my secret admirer. Flipping through them, I find my favorite, the one that's worn and starting to tear. It's also the one that made me fall in love with this mystery person. I read it once more because it's truly the most beautiful letter anyone has ever given me. Beautiful Sophia. In this ever-changing world, you are my one constant, my unwavering anchor amidst the chaos. Your ethereal presence exudes a comforting warmth that fills my heart and soul. Your smile, like a radiant ray of sunshine, illuminates even the darkest of days. Your laughter, a symphony of pure joy, echoes in my ears and brings me inner peace. As each moment passes, I am mesmerized by your breathtaking beauty, your gentle kindness, and the infinite depth of your spirit. You are not only my rock and confidant, but also my greatest source of inspiration. Forever and always, my love for you burns with an everlasting flame. Yours forever, secret admirer. I clutch the letter to my chest and close my eyes, disappearing into a fantasy of Chase personally handing me this letter. I imagine her standing tall and husky, with her beautiful hazel eyes watching my reaction. In my daydream, I throw myself into her arms, pulling her into a passionate kiss. But why do I want this letter to be from her? I groan and place the letters back into the center console. No. Hell no. Anyone but Chase, the rich asshole who's just working to keep her trust fund. With a heavy sigh, I turn off the engine and climb out of my car. The cool air hits my face, but it's not enough to calm me down as I make my way to the back entrance of the building so I can clock in. On the way, I notice another luxury vehicle parked next to Chase's SUV. Lori must be here, too. What could this meeting be about? As I reach the door, I hit the doorbell, and Lori pushes it open, greeting me with a smile. I give her a gentle smile in return and step inside, letting the door close behind me. Turning to the office, I notice a beautiful bouquet of roses with a card attached. Chase stands from her office chair, that's clearly too small for her, running a hand through her unraveled mohawk. She's stunning. My lips part as I take in her big, beautiful figure. Why am I always drawn to assholes? Why can't I just find someone nice and be happy? Chase is everything I want in a woman. Strong, confident, and masculine. But she's also an A-grade asshole, and as much as it pains me to admit it, I'm so turned on by it. Chase smiles at me, and I quickly look away to avoid staring or stammering like an idiot. The attraction between us is undeniable, but I don't want her to know that. She's been the boss from hell, though she's lightened up a bit this past week. Maybe we've grown on her? Though it's hard to see how, considering she's been a major grumpy bitch lately, frustrated over every little thing. It seems like she's finally realizing how privileged she is. I wonder how long that'll last before she goes back to being a rich asshole. If she keeps acting like this, maybe we could actually date. God, why am I even entertaining that thought? No way. She's rich, and we'd never work as a couple. And let's be real, the women she's interested in probably aren't anything like me anyway. Even if, by some miracle, I wanted to date her, it would never happen. Chapter 3. Chase. I feel like an idiot. My tongue feels heavy and useless in my mouth as I gape at her like a love-struck fool. Sophia possesses some inexplicable hold over me. With each blink of her beautiful, dark brown eyes and every breath I take of her intoxicating scent, I am rendered helpless. She smells like apple orchards on a crisp autumn day. How does she do it? All I want is to bury my face in her neck and never let go. If only Sophia would give me the slightest hint that she might reciprocate my feelings, I would pounce on the opportunity, showering her with love until she surrendered to being mine. I've been an animalistic monster, consumed by my possessive desire for her. I don't let any man go near her, especially those on staff. I can't explain this sudden need for someone who is not rightfully mine, but my body and mind betray me. In a fit of rage, I almost snapped the head off the bread delivery driver, my only excuse being that I hadn't had my morning coffee. Sophia glared at me with disdain that day, confirming her hatred towards me. Lori gives me a knowing look, urging me to speak to Sophia, but I can't bring myself to do it. Not when I know how much she despises me. Sophia's eyes linger on the flowers and card before wondering if they are meant for her. Of course, they are for her. I will buy her flowers and write her love letters forever if necessary. This isn't just about winning her heart, but also showing Sophia the depth of my love for her. I've never been this hopelessly infatuated with a woman, but when it comes to Sophia, I can't resist. My mouth waters as I stand next to her in this cramped restaurant, trying to keep my distance. Every fiber of my being wants to scoop her up and whisk her away to my mansion in Traverse City, where she'd stay by my side forever. Jesus, when did I turn into some crazy obsessive freak? I'm not one to obsess over any woman, and I never have trouble getting a date. But as soon as Sophia walked into the restaurant and clocked in on my first day, everything changed. She looked right into my eyes, and at that moment, I was a goner. Since then, she's owned me without even knowing it. I bite my lip as she brushes past me to examine the flowers, a smile curling on her lips. I want to kiss her right now. When her arm brushes against mine, I shift away because the brief touch sets me on fire. Sophia looks up at me and scowls, thinking I'm rejecting her. But the truth is, I'm struggling to control myself around her. What am I going to do when this woman has me under her spell? I don't know how to deal with these feelings for her. They're driving me insane. Maybe I should listen to Lori and tell Sophia how I feel. But just seeing her light up from my love gesture is enough for now. Sophia looks away from me, her face curling up in disgust. I groan and try to redirect her attention back to the flowers. Another bouquet of roses? For me? She asks as if she already knows that the gift is for her. I squeeze my way out of the small office, not answering her, my face turning pink from embarrassment. Heading over to the salad bar to prep for opening, Lori steps into the office and snatches the card from the flowers before handing it to Sophia. Her excited giggles are like a melody I want to hear for the rest of my life. I'm addicted to her laugh, desperate for Sophia to know that I'll do anything to have her. Willing to give her the world, even if it costs me every penny in the bank. But she doesn't even look at the flowers anymore. Sophia is focused on the letter. She sits down in the office chair, and for some reason, I feel a twinge of jealousy toward an inanimate object. I want her sitting on my lap, where she belongs. With a groan, I start cutting into a fresh head of lettuce, finally chopping it while Sophia laughs with Lori over the love letter I spent all night crafting. I hope their giggling and light chatter isn't about how stupid the letter is. I pour my heart out into every letter I write for Sophia. She means everything to me, the sole focus of my thoughts. I live and breathe for her now, and I want her to know it. Every night, I long to have her in bed with me for the rest of our lives. My father once told me the overwhelming feeling he had when he first saw my mother, how love hit him like a wave just by looking into her green eyes. It wasn't until I caught sight of Sophia's beauty that I truly understood his words. Now, they resonate more than ever before. Chapter 4. Sophia. My heart pounds with excitement as I clutch the letter to my chest. Lori, who knows the identity of my secret admirer, beams at me with a genuine smile. Tears brim in my eyes. I need to confess my love to this mysterious person behind these beautiful love letters. My mind races with questions. Man or woman? How did they capture my heart without even meeting me? As I lean in to whisper to Lori about Chase, who seems to have a friendship with her, I realize their relationship runs deeper than I thought. But for now, I don't want her in my business. Lori, please tell me who is delivering these love letters, I beg her. But she just laughs, glancing back at Chase. My scowl deepens. There's no way she could have written such a beautiful letter to me. She hates me. Lori shrugs in response to my question. Can you just tell me if it's a man or a woman? Lori smiles and shakes her head, then leans in to grab her purse. Can I see the building cameras just to get a glimpse of who it is? I don't have access to the building cameras, Sophia, she says, winking and tossing her purse over her shoulder. But I'll give you a hint. It's a woman. I beam back at her, unable to contain my excitement. I can't decide which letter is my favorite anymore. This one makes me feel like my soul is floating out of my body. Laurie exits the office and waves at Chase before leaving, while I clutch the letter tightly and read it again. Just one more time before my shift begins. My precious Sophia, from afar my heart belongs to you. Your beauty and spirit inspire me like no other. Though I do not tell you my name, know that you are always in my dreams. One day, I hope to find the courage to show myself, but until then, please accept this small token of my endless affection and admiration for you, my sweet Sophia. Yours forever, secret admirer. My heart belongs to her, yet I don't even know her name. Who is she? Why doesn't she just come out and tell me who she is? My eyes linger on the signature, secret admirer, for a long moment. Something about the calligraphy, the way the S curves beautifully on the paper, feels familiar to me. With a groan, I fold the small paper from the card and tuck it into my bra, wanting to keep it close to my heart. I grab the mouse cursor on the desktop computer and clock into the time clock system. When I look up, I catch Chase staring at me, but her eyes quickly go back to prepping the salad bar. I frown and let out a huff loud enough for her to hear as I grab my cash till and walk past her to the register to start up the system. We're due to open in a few minutes. So, you have someone sweet on you, huh? Chase says, and I don't even bother to look at her. She's just trying to piss me off, but I refuse to let her succeed. In fact, I relish the opportunity to show off how special my secret admirer makes me feel. With a smug smile, I meet her gaze, prepared to give her a taste of her own medicine. Do I know who it is? No, because you and Laurie won't tell me. But I'm sure of one thing. I'm in love. And when I find her, she'll know it. Chase chuckles at my words, only fueling my anger. We're alone in this stupid store, and I hate it. I can't wait for the other employees to show up so she'll stop bothering me. You don't even know this person, yet you're in love? She questions, raising an eyebrow at me. I stiffen at her words, looking up at her, almost hurt. The joke's on me. I tried to be petty with her, only to get slapped back into reality. Is this all just a silly crush? Chase is right. I don't really know who she is. Shit, Sophia, she says, putting her knife down on the counter. She starts to walk over to me, but I hold my hand up and start refilling the cups and straws for opening, keeping myself occupied. That was stupid of me. I'm sorry. I simply shrug at her in response and continue focusing on my tasks. It's fine, Chase. I know you hate me. At least you'll be rid of me soon. I know you're leaving. Good. You can go back to your rich life and leave me the hell alone. I snap, but the growl that escapes her in response scares me a bit. I nervously look up at her, biting my lip. Chase is furious. She looks like she's about to tear my head off. Hate you? Is that what you think? She almost snarls at me. I stare up at her, my eyes wide with disbelief. What the hell is wrong with her? I respond with a nonchalant shrug, not wanting to provoke her further. You couldn't be more wrong, Sophia. I glare at her in response, slamming the straw box at the register in anger. I storm toward her big, brawny frame, practically towering over me. Fine. This is my opportunity to get what I want out of her. Fine, I say, daring her to prove me wrong. You don't hate me? Then tell me who my secret admirer is. She says nothing, just looks down at me with her intense hazel eyes. But in that gaze, I see a trace of sadness. I let out a disappointed chuckle before turning back to the straws. Hopefully, this shift goes by fast. Chapter 5. Chase. There it is, my chance to finally tell her the truth, and I say nothing. I'm too upset to speak, but Sophia thinks I hate her. It's ridiculous. I am head over heels in love with her. Hate couldn't be further from my mind. but whenever I try to confess my feelings, I mess it up somehow. I need to find a way to get it right this time. The day passes by in a blur, and my sweetheart refuses to even look at me. It stings more than anything. I know I've put this distance between us, being her secret admirer, never revealing my true feelings but still giving off an air of disdain. Obviously, I could use some lessons on wooing a woman because right now I'm doing a terrible fucking job. As the end of my shift approaches and the second shift manager takes over, I decide to retreat to my office and make the call that I should have made a week ago. I was only supposed to be here for a month, but I couldn't leave knowing all the problems within my company that needed fixing. With Lori's help, we've been working diligently to repair the damage caused by bad management and slowly rebuild our reputation. But truthfully, the real reason I stayed was because of Sophia. The thought of leaving her makes my heart ache. I need this woman like I need air to breathe, yet she has no clue. Gripping the office phone tightly, I dial the number of the manager who will replace me. He's highly qualified for the position, and I trust he will run this location smoothly and treat our employees well, especially Sophia. My Sophia. The idea of her being mine alone causes my heart to flutter. I yearn to possess this woman in every possible way, and I will spend a lifetime adoring her as she deserves. Because Sophia is a goddess. "John," I say as he answers the line. We have a brief conversation about the Detroit Tigers and their impressive performance this baseball season. He invites me to join him and his wife at one of the games, but I decline, not wanting to be a third wheel. I could easily find some eye candy to accompany me, but Sophia is the only woman I want by my side. Anyone else would feel like a betrayal, as I've already given her my heart, even if she doesn't know it yet. I cringe as I ask him, "How do you feel about starting tomorrow?" I've been pushing back the official takeover because I can't let go of Sophia. But I know it's wrong to hold on to her like this, playing mind games. If I want to win her heart, I have to do it differently. And that starts with stepping aside and letting someone else take over. My sole focus now is on winning this woman. I'll do whatever it takes to have her by my side. Anything. John laughs into the phone and gives me a simple yes for an answer before ending the call. And just like that, it's finished. No need for me to announce my departure. I'm sure everyone is happy to see me go. I haven't exactly been a stellar boss, especially when it comes to managing my own company. I've been a privileged asshole. But that changes from now on. I'm going to make this the company my parents were proud to hand over to me. I'll be a better business owner and put my employees first, offering better benefits, flexible hours, employee incentives, and a better overall work environment. This experience has made me want to be a better person. As soon as I hang up with John, I remove my apron and punch out. The money I earn from this month's work will go toward Alexis, a struggling coworker. She'll receive this check along with some extra assistance. I glance at Sophia before heading for the door. She appears tired and worn down, the fast-paced business life taking its toll on her. I want to grab her and whisk her away from here, carrying her over my shoulder back to my mansion where I can spoil her and show her what her future will be like. But I know I can't do that yet. I have to restrain myself and do this the right way. Sophia looks up from the register, and our eyes lock briefly. I can see the attraction in her eyes. She feels something for me. Am I wrong for not saying goodbye? This isn't the end of us, not by a long shot, but I need to find a better approach to pursuing her. I push the door open and walk out of the store, clenching my teeth as I make my way to my SUV. Climbing inside, I start the engine and chuckle to myself. I had been so eager to give my car a professional clean after working my first shift. Now, it's become a scent I can't live without, the smell of hard work. Sophia will see that I'm capable of being the woman she deserves, someone she would be proud to stand beside. Tears well in my eyes, but they don't fall as I start my engine and pull out of the parking lot, leaving Sophia behind. The ache forming in my chest is almost too much to bear. I'll see her again, because life isn't worth living without her. Chapter 5. Chase. There it is, my chance to finally tell her the truth, and I say nothing. I'm too upset to speak, but Sophia thinks I hate her. It's ridiculous. I am head over heels in love with her. Hate couldn't be further from my mind. But whenever I try to confess my feelings, I mess it up somehow. I need to find a way to get it right this time. The day passes by in a blur, and my sweetheart refuses to even look at me. It stings more than anything. I know I've put this distance between us, being her secret admirer, never revealing my true feelings but still giving off an air of disdain. Obviously, I could use some lessons on wooing a woman because right now I'm doing a terrible fucking job. As the end of my shift approaches and the second shift manager takes over, I decide to retreat to my office and make the call that I should have made a week ago. I was only supposed to be here for a month, but I couldn't leave knowing all the problems within my company that needed fixing. With Lori's help, we've been working diligently to repair the damage caused by bad management and slowly rebuild our reputation. But truthfully, the real reason I stayed was because of Sophia. The thought of leaving her makes my heart ache. I need this woman like I need air to breathe, yet she has no clue. Gripping the office phone tightly, I dial the number of the manager who will replace me. He's highly qualified for the position, and I trust he will run this location smoothly and treat our employees well, especially Sophia. My Sophia. The idea of her being mine alone causes my heart to flutter. I yearn to possess this woman in every possible way, and I will spend a lifetime adoring her as she deserves. Because Sophia is a goddess. "John," I say as he answers the line. We have a brief conversation about the Detroit Tigers and their impressive performance this baseball season. He invites me to join him and his wife at one of the games, but I decline, not wanting to be a third wheel. I could easily find some eye candy to accompany me, but Sophia is the only woman I want by my side. Anyone else would feel like a betrayal, as I've already given her my heart, even if she doesn't know it yet. I cringe as I ask him, "How do you feel about starting tomorrow?" I've been pushing back the official takeover because I can't let go of Sophia. But I know it's wrong to hold on to her like this, playing mind games. If I want to win her heart, I have to do it differently. And that starts with stepping aside and letting someone else take over. My sole focus now is on winning this woman. I'll do whatever it takes to have her by my side. Anything. John laughs into the phone and gives me a simple yes for an answer before ending the call. And just like that, it's finished. No need for me to announce my departure. I'm sure everyone is happy to see me go. I haven't exactly been a stellar boss, especially when it comes to managing my own company. I've been a privileged asshole. But that changes from now on. I'm going to make this the company my parents were proud to hand over to me. I'll be a better business owner and put my employees first, offering better benefits, flexible hours, employee incentives, and a better overall work environment. This experience has made me want to be a better person. As soon as I hang up with John, I remove my apron and punch out. The money I earn from this month's work will go toward Alexis, a struggling coworker. She'll receive this check along with some extra assistance. I glance at Sophia before heading for the door. She appears tired and worn down, the fast-paced business life taking its toll on her. I want to grab her and whisk her away from here, carrying her over my shoulder back to my mansion where I can spoil her and show her what her future will be like. But I know I can't do that yet. I have to restrain myself and do this the right way. Sophia looks up from the register, and our eyes lock briefly. I can see the attraction in her eyes. She feels something for me. Am I wrong for not saying goodbye? This isn't the end of us, not by a long shot, but I need to find a better approach to pursuing her. I push the door open and walk out of the store, clenching my teeth as I make my way to my SUV. Climbing inside, I start the engine and chuckle to myself. I had been so eager to give my car a professional clean after working my first shift. Now, it's become a scent I can't live without, the smell of hard work. Sophia will see that I'm capable of being the woman she deserves, someone she would be proud to stand beside. Tears well in my eyes, but they don't fall as I start my engine and pull out of the parking lot, leaving Sophia behind. The ache forming in my chest is almost too much to bear. I'll see her again, because life isn't worth living without her. Chapter 6. Sophia. 3 days later. I can't believe it. She's really gone. 3 days since John became our new store manager and his smooth transition. But I can't help wondering how Chase is holding up. As I park and make my way to the back entrance, I notice Lori's car parked next to John's. Excitement burns within me for some reason. Maybe because I just want to ask her about Chase. How is she doing? It's only been a couple of days, but I'm genuinely curious to know if life is treating her well. I am going crazy. I'm head over heels for this mysterious woman who writes these beautiful love letters, yet I have no idea who she is. And now I miss my boss. Those stunning hazel eyes, the way she looked at me. I just want to see her again. What is wrong with me? As soon as I arrive, Lori opens the door for me, and I step inside, anxiously scouring the room for any sign of Chase. She didn't even say goodbye. But Lori gives me a warm smile. "Good to see you, Sophia," she says with a smile as she walks into the office. I notice her carrying a bouquet of roses with a card attached, and my heart flutters. Another gift from my secret admirer? I wonder if she knows who it is. As she goes to chat with John about new equipment, I pull the card out of the envelope. It's been a few days since I've received one of these letters. My eyes then catch sight of some paperwork on the desk, but something about the signature catches my attention. The S. I can't even bring myself to open and read the beautiful love letter. Instead, I pick up the paperwork and scan over the signature. Chastity Scottsdale. My heart pounds out of my chest as the realization hits me. The signature is almost identical to my secret admirer's. Chase is my secret admirer. "Hey, do you have another gift from your secret admirer?" Lori says, standing in the doorway. I stare at her in shock, then shove the paperwork toward her with anger. "You knew, and you said nothing," I snarl at her. She looks down at the paperwork, then back up to me and winces. "Shit," she mutters, a look of embarrassment crossing her face. "I know the Scottsdales. They own the franchise, right?" I say, and Lori winces again. She sets the paperwork down on the desk and gives me a sheepish grin. "Chase is a billionaire?" "You should open your letter," she suggests. I stand up, holding the card in my hand. I don't want to read this letter. I want to find Chase. "Where is she? I need to find her," I shout, and Lori holds her hands up. "I'm just her assistant, Sophia. I can't—" "Lori, please," I say, cutting her off. I hold the card to my chest. I just lost the woman of my dreams. I want her back. I need to talk to her. "I love her," I blurt out, feeling desperate and foolish. I know I'm setting myself up for heartbreak, but I can't help it. Please don't tell me I just pushed away the woman of my dreams. My chest aches, and bile rises in my throat as I think about the possible loss of our love. "Sophia, calm down, honey," Lori pushes, but I shake my head at her. I'm not going to read any more letters until I talk to her. "I want her address," I demand, glaring at her. "Tell me where Chase lives." Lori glares back and folds her arms over her chest. "You are her employee. I can't do that." "Then I quit. I quit right now," I retort, glaring at her. I grab my keys from my pocket, ready to dash out of here and find her. "Lori!" I shout at her, but she just laughs and shakes her head. "All right." She stays at the Riverfront Towers in downtown Detroit. "Penthouse apartment," she answers. But I push past her and run out of the door, rushing to my car. I toss the card onto the passenger seat before climbing in and starting the engine. As I peel out, I run a hand over my sweaty forehead, questioning if this is a terrible decision. But I need to get to her. I drive recklessly down the highway, knowing I'll probably get pulled over or even arrested for my speed. but my mind is too consumed with finding this woman to care. I'm seething with anger toward her. Why couldn't she just be honest with me? Why did she have to mess with my heart like this? My breath hitches as I reach the parking lot of her apartment building, parking in one of the guest spots. When I turn off the engine, my eyes find the card on the passenger seat. Lori asked me to open it, but for some reason, I can't bring myself to do it. I grab the card and climb out of the car, making my way to the entrance. My heart races frantically as I search for her penthouse apartment number, ringing it when I finally locate it. It rings like her phone number, and my palms grow sweaty as I wonder if she'll answer. After several rings, Chase's voice answers, and my heart leaps nervously. A loud squeal escapes my mouth when I hear her familiar and dearly missed voice, more than I'd ever care to admit. "Hello," she says, almost surprised that someone is buzzing her apartment. I'm surprised she's home. It's me, Sophia," I tell her with a shaky voice. "Buzz me in, please. I need to talk to you." My nerves are on edge, and I'm shaking like a leaf. Chase clears her throat, almost as if she's choking on something. Clearly, my unexpected visit has caught her off guard. "Sophia, baby," she says, her words causing my heart to quicken at the pet name. Am I really her baby? Doubt and nervousness swirl within me, but I ignore them as she buzzes me in. I enter the building and stride confidently toward the elevator. This is it, my make-or-break moment. How badly will I screw this up? Chapter 7. Chase. Sophia's here. My sweetheart, she's here. It takes a moment for my brain to register what's happening, but I quickly shake off my depressive state and get up from the sofa. I run a hand through my hair, grateful that I don't look like a complete mess. I just took a shower and am wearing a long t-shirt and sweatpants. As I unlock the door, I nervously bite my nails in anticipation. When she arrives a few minutes later, she hesitantly peeks her head inside before stepping in and closing the door behind her. She is always a vision, absolutely beautiful in every way. My breath catches as I take in her appearance. She's still in her work clothes, a Chicken Avenue t-shirt, black jeans that hug her curves, and slip-resistant sneakers. Did she leave work just to come here? My eyes are drawn to her hands, clutching a card with my letter. It remains unopened, unread. She notices me looking at it and pulls it closer to her chest as if afraid I might try to take it away. How did she find me? I groan and roll my eyes. Lori, I say. She swallows and steps forward. Please don't fire her, she pleads, her eyes looking around my apartment. She seems flustered and on edge. So, you're a lot richer than I thought you were, she says, looking away from me and shifting her eyes down to the floor. She's always seemed to be annoyed with my wealth, and I've never understood why. Why does my wealth bother you so much? I ask. Do you want me to get rid of the money? Sophia nervously shakes her head, biting her lip. Her mind is racing a mile a minute, and I don't know how to help her. She pulls the card from her chest, tears welling in her eyes, and looks down at it. Why? She asks in a shaky voice. Why didn't you tell me you were my secret admirer? Were you just going to leave me these letters and let me hope that someone was out there for me? Waiting for me? She looks up at me, and I can see the pain in her eyes. It nearly breaks me. Shit, this wasn't what I intended. How did you know it was me? Did Lori tell you? I almost growl, trying not to hurt her. Did Lori tell her? That's why I wrote the love letter, to express my true feelings. But seeing her like this, so pained and frustrated, makes me want to punch a wall. I clench my fists tightly, struggling to keep my composure. I resist the urge to scoop her up and take her to the bedroom. Tears stream down her face as she shakes her head. I saw your signature on some paperwork in the office. The S. You always write it the same, huh? She asks, and I groan. I did a terrible job trying to conceal my identity. The only one to blame here is me. I try to approach her, but she backs away, clearly wary of my intentions. You made me fall in love with a ghost, she snaps at me as I glare back. A ghost? Does she not see me standing here right now? My eyes narrow at her words, frustration and longing bubbling up inside me. I take a step closer, my determination evident in my blazing eyes as I reach out to cup her cheek gently. Sophia, look at me, I implore, my voice urgent but soft. She meets my gaze, her eyes filled with unshed tears and a whirlwind of emotions. I whisper, brushing away a tear from her cheek with my thumb. You didn't fall in love with a ghost, I tell her. You fell in love with me, with the woman who has been pouring her heart out to you through those letters. Sophia's breath catches at my words, and I can see realization dawn in her widened eyes. Without another word, she surges forward and crashes her lips against mine, a passionate kiss that speaks volumes of our love. My heart quickens as I pull her close, the unopened card falling from her hands and hitting the floor. Her arms wrap around me, and our tongues tangle in a passionate dance. Unable to contain my frustration, I groan as she pulls away from me, hesitance evident in her eyes. No, don't give up on us. We're right here, right where we need to be, I beg, reaching out for her hand. She backs away, putting a finger to her lips, breathing heavily, turning away from me and running for the front door. If I let Sophia leave now, I'll lose her forever. The urge to claim her, to make her mine, takes over my body. I can feel the possessive nature I've been holding back for weeks bursting out of me. My hand slams against the door as she tries to leave, forcing it shut once again. She gasps and turns to face me, her back pressed against the door in fear. Her eyes widen as she looks up at me, likely seeing a crazed monster instead of the woman she knows. But Sophia has shown me pure heaven with one kiss. The way her lips felt against mine, I thought I was going to melt into the floor. She's not leaving me now, that's for sure. With that one kiss, she sealed her fate with me. I'm never letting her go now. Chapter 8. Sophia. Her eyes, the way she stares at me, the intensity in them scares me. She looks like she's going to eat me alive. I gasp, my hands moving for the doorknob, but her large hand firmly grips my wrist, pulling it away from the door. Where the hell do you think you're going? She asks, and I gulp. Her hand moves from my wrist to cup my face, her eyes blazing with a wild intensity as she leans in closer. Something has changed in Chase, her desires no longer restrained. My body ignites under her touch, every nerve alive to her soft strokes against my skin and the heat of her breath on my lips. This is not the Chase I've known for weeks. This is a fierce and untamed version of her. Her beauty is undeniable, but it's the feral hunger in her hazel eyes that captures me. She's here to claim me as hers. Do you really think you can just give me a taste of heaven and walk away? Her voice is a low growl, sending shivers down my spine. My core tingles, and I shift my legs involuntarily. She has this hold over me, like a spider trapping its prey in a web. Do I even want to escape it? No, I want to stay. My eyes lock with hers, and I'm instantly mesmerized as her fingers trail down my neck, over my breasts. A gasp escapes my lips when she brushes over my nipple through my work shirt. You've made it clear that you want me too, Sophia, she says, her fingers trailing from my breasts down my belly to the hem of my pants. Ever since the first day I saw you, I've longed for you. You inspire me to be a better woman. And now that you're here, you're never leaving my side. Welcome home, sweetheart. She curls her fingers around the fabric of my pants. What? I pant, barely processing what she's saying. Chase gives me a wicked grin, licking her lips. She slides her fingers into my pants, through my panties, her fingers searching until they reach the dampness of my sex, pressing gently against my clit. I gasp and moan, arching my head back. Taking advantage of my weakness, Chase presses her lips against mine in the sweetest kiss I've ever experienced. My mind is a cloud of lust. All I want right now is to feel. Is all this wetness for me, Sophia? I gasp again, blinking, turning my head from side to side as she presses against my sensitive nub. I'm overwhelmed by her dominance and the way she takes control of me. I absolutely love it. Her tongue trails against my lips, and the taste of her sweet, minty flavor sends my senses into overdrive. Answer me, Sophia, she growls, and I let out a low moan. Gripping her wrist, I push her further against me, craving more pressure and friction. My lips curl into a pout, and a disappointed moan escapes me when she starts to pull her fingers out of my pants. I cry out, yes, begging her not to stop. She brings her fingers to her mouth, making me watch as she devours the lingering wetness from my arousal. Oh my God, I groan as she chuckles, the feral monster lurking in her eyes. Well, then why is that wetness coating your panties? It belongs on my face. She growls. Before I can process what's happening, she picks me up and tosses me over her broad shoulder like a rag doll. She carries me away from the door, bending down to grab the card on the way. I don't protest or fight back. Maybe I'm just weak and reckless, but I don't care. All I want is for Chase to completely devour me. Fuck me until I'm seeing stars. Chase kicks open the bedroom door and carries me inside, flipping me over her shoulder and gently placing me down on the bed. Immediately, she goes for my pants, stripping them down along with my panties until I'm bare. She stands over me, staring at me, but in a moment of insecurity, I cover my sex with my hand. She slaps it away, surprising me. My eyes widen as she quickly strips herself naked, revealing her beauty, her large arms, firm breasts, and toned torso. Another wave of arousal hits me, and my legs spread wide as she climbs on top of me. She helps me remove my shirt and bra before pulling me into a passionate kiss. I moan between her lips, gasping for air as she grinds into me. My hands move down her back until they reach her ass. The sensation of her clit brushing against mine makes me shiver with pleasure, and I feel a rush of heat between my legs. Chase pauses for a moment to take a deep breath and looks down at me with lustful eyes. She leans down and starts to trail wet, warm kisses down my neck and collarbone before moving down my body. My skin tingles where she's kissing me, and I feel the warmth of her breath against my skin as she moves lower. Her hands squeeze my ass gently, sliding down to caress the inside of my thighs and part them wider apart. A small gasp escapes when she reaches my core, her touch igniting a wet and eager response. She moves back up, dragging her tongue from my neck to my breast, teasing every inch of smooth skin before reaching one erect nipple and flicking it with her tongue. I cry out softly, arching into her touch as she chuckles against my flesh. More kisses are planted along the way down to my stomach until finally arriving at her destination. The wet heat of her mouth on my clit is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's a mixture of intense pleasure and pain that makes me moan loudly into the mattress. Her tongue expertly swirls around, pressing and circling in all the right ways, sending electric shockwaves through me. Every touch feels like a bolt of lightning between my legs, each one more powerful than the last. I crave more, pulling gently on her hair, urging her to go deeper. She chuckles against my clit before sinking 2 fingers inside me, filling me slowly and skillfully. My hips buck off the mattress as she penetrates me with firm thrusts, stretching me open for her. Her free hand moves up to grind against my clit, making soft circles as she continues to thrust inside me. Her lips part around my entrance, sucking and nipping at the sensitive skin there, sending shivers down my spine. The bed creaks under our movements as we rock together in perfect rhythm, her fingers finding just the right spot inside me that makes me see stars. My body tenses up in anticipation of an orgasm, and suddenly she adds a third finger, stretching me even further. I cover my mouth to muffle my screams as she hits something deep inside me that sends shockwaves of pleasure through every nerve ending in my body. "Fuck!" I moan, arching into her touch. "Chase, you're so good at this." She smiles against my heat, pumping in and out faster, her tongue dancing around my clit in tandem with her fingers moving inside me. It's too much, too good, and yet I want more. My fingernails scrape lightly against the mattress as she hits that spot over and over again until finally, I explode in waves of ecstasy that shake my entire body. An intense wave of pleasure crashes over me, causing my body to tremble. She withdraws and climbs on top of me, pressing her lips against mine in a loving kiss. Taking my hand, she guides it down to her wetness and moans as I slip 2 fingers inside her. "Now, it's time for you to claim me, Sophia," she says, slowly grinding against me. Chapter 9. Chase. She tastes amazing, better than I've ever imagined in my wet dreams. The taste of her cum is intoxicating, and I can't contain the beast within me any longer. Sophia is mine now, and there's no turning back. As I thrust into her, my core drenched, sliding effortlessly against her fingers, I grip the sheets with a fierce intensity to prevent myself from hurting her. She needs to know that this moment has sealed her fate, that she'll never be able to leave me after experiencing this intense passion between us. "You're mine, Sophia," I groan and moan as I grind against her, over and over. A whimper escapes me when she pulls her fingers out of me, a hint of her own lust glistening in her beautiful dark brown eyes as I watch her suck them clean. She closes her eyes and moans with a satisfied smile as if she's relishing the taste of my essence. When she opens her eyes again, Sophia is no longer the familiar girl I know. She grins wickedly and cups my ass, thrusting me to grind my clit against hers. Oh, fucking hell. The sensation of our clits rubbing together is beyond anything I've ever felt before. "Sophia," I cry out, unable to resist the pleasure any longer as I feel myself losing control. My body arches upward toward her, meeting her thrusts eagerly, my breath coming in short gasps. The friction between our swollen clits sends shockwaves of ecstasy through my system, causing stars to flash over my eyes, and I shudder uncontrollably. The skin-on-skin contact is electrifying, setting every nerve ending in my body on fire and making me crave more of this woman. Sophia, my woman. She's mine, and I'll never get enough of her. Mine. Our hips grind together in perfect harmony, the sound of our wetness mixing echoing through the room. I marvel at how right this feels. Sophia's eyes are dark pools of lust, consuming me whole as they meet mine. It's like she's pouring her heart out on the floor for me to see. Her breasts press against my chest with each thrust, their weight teasing me to the edge of climax. Each time she grinds against me, matching my movements, it's a delicate balance between heaven and hell. She drives me wild with desire while also soothing an ache deep within. This experience is unlike anything I've ever felt before. Raw and primal, yet tender and loving all at once. Sophia doesn't need me to ask her twice. With a sly grin on her face, she starts staring right into my eyes as she speaks. I'm yours, Chase. Every inch of me. I love you. I moan and curse as my orgasm takes over. Her words were all I needed to hear to send me over the edge. My body erupts in waves of pleasure, melting under her touch. Collapsing onto her, I shiver as my orgasm ripples through me. She gasps and digs her nails into my back, reaching her own climax. I quickly crash my lips down to hers, muffling out our screams of ecstasy. I crave more, every inch of her release, and continue grinding against her until she is pushed to her own limit. To prevent from suffocating her with my bulky frame, I roll off and pull her on top of me, straddling me. We're both breathless, and she looks satisfied. But not me. I want all of it. She yelps as I grip her hips and lift her above my head, positioning myself between her legs. Without hesitation, I dive in with my tongue, exploring every fold of her sweet pussy and causing her to grind against me. "Chase!" she screams, her hand slamming against the headboard as she continues to grind against me. I make sure she understands that I'm never letting her go, just like I promised. My eyes roll back as her sweet taste fills my mouth, the only flavor I'll crave forever. If I could survive on it alone, I would. She grinds against me again and again, pushing herself toward another orgasm. With a loud shriek, she reaches it, and I hold onto her hips tightly, keeping her steady. My tongue thrusts in and out of her, savoring every drop of her release. As her body goes limp and starts to collapse, I catch her and gently place her back beside me. Lovingly, I stare into her eyes, cupping her cheek to make sure she meets my eyes. "This is forever, Sophia," I tell her, my voice desperate. "I'll do anything you want, baby, but you have to stay with me." A tear escapes her eyes, and she nods, smiling weakly as she lifts a trembling hand to stroke my cheek. "I know, Chase," she says firmly. "I meant what I said. I'm yours. Forever." I lose control and press my lips to hers once more. Though I could spend all day fucking her, right now she needs to rest. With reluctance, I pull away and let her lay her head on my chest. My fingers comb through her hair, massaging her scalp as she relaxes against me. "I guess this means I'm out of a job," she jokes, and I laugh, shaking my head at her ridiculousness. I confirm, "Of course, you are, sweetheart." She shivers quietly against me, and I continue, "But you're getting a promotion. You're my forever woman now." She softens against me, contentment washing over her as she quickly falls asleep in my arms, right where she belongs. Chapter 10. Sophia. 6 months later. My eyes flutter open as Chase pulls through the gates of her beautiful estate in Traverse City, right off the bay connecting to Lake Michigan. My eyes widen as I take in the sight of the massive mansion. I look up at Chase, my mouth hanging open in awe. She was serious when we first made love, holding on to me and never letting go. Despite my initial resistance, she persisted and convinced me to move in with her, leaving behind my midtown apartment. And now she wants me to settle into our permanent home, this grandiose mansion. My heart races as she parks the car in front of the double doors and turns off the engine. A proud smile spreads across her face as I take in the sight before me. "You'll get used to your new future with me, I promise," Chase says, leaning in for a kiss, and I don't deny her. My eyes follow her as she climbs out of the driver's seat and comes around to the passenger's side, helping me out. Chase likes to pamper me, and while it can be overwhelming at times, I let her have her way because it makes her happy. She opens the passenger door and pulls me out of the car, then scoops me into her arms, cradling me against her chest. "Forget the bags. I'll grab them later," she says as she leads me up the stairs to the front door. "I want to walk my woman across the threshold of our forever home." I groan and rest my head against her chest, amused by her over-the-top gestures. but I can't help but love it. Chase unlocks the door and carries me inside, setting me down on my feet as I take in the grandeur of the mansion. She kicks the door shut and pulls out her wallet, keys, and a familiar card from her pocket, placing it on the long table by the entrance. My hands reach for it, pulling the wrinkled card from the table and examining it closely. I remember this card, I say, giving her a smile. It's the card she had given me before our confrontation. I can't believe I never opened it. I keep it with me, hoping maybe you'll open it one day, Chase teases, staring at me with the most loving eyes. The way she looks at me with her beautiful hazel eyes always takes my breath away. I narrow my eyes at her playfully and finally open the card. It's 6 months late, but what the hell? Better late than never, right? Chase wraps her arms around my waist, pulling me against her chest and planting sweet kisses on my neck as I open the card and pull the small letter from it. Beautiful Sophia. As I write these words, my heart trembles with both joy and anxiety. For too long, I have admired you from afar, concealing my feelings like a secret whispered to the wind. But now, as I prepare to leave this job, I cannot bear the thought of parting ways without revealing the truth that has consumed me. You are the sunlight that brightens every corner of my existence. Your laughter is a symphony, and your smile a masterpiece. Every passing moment spent in your presence feels like a stolen treasure, and I long for a lifetime of such stolen moments. Though uncertain of what the future holds, I promise to find a way to be with you, to love and protect you, for you are the missing piece that completes the puzzle of my soul. I will never give up until I have you by my side forever, as my wife. Yours forever, Chase, your secret admirer. I gulp, letting the paper fall to the floor as I turn to stare into her beautiful hazel eyes. Tears of happiness stream down my face, and Chase just stares back at me lovingly. She gently caresses my cheek, wiping away my tears. I gasp, "Chase!" but the words get caught in my throat. Once again, I'm ensnared in her spell of love. Don't ask me how I know, baby. I just do. I love you, and I won't give up until I know you're mine forever. I love you, Sophia, baby. She pulls a small black box from her pocket and drops down to one knee, opening it to reveal a beautiful diamond ring. My hands fly to my mouth as tears stream down my face uncontrollably. Will you marry me, Sophia? She asks with sincerity, and I simply nod. She takes my hand from my face and slides the beautiful diamond onto my ring finger as I accept her proposal by gently wrapping my fingers around hers. Yes, Chase, I've told you for the 100th time. I am yours forever. My gaze follows hers as she rises from the ground. I love you. I have loved you since our first encounter, but I couldn't grasp it then. And then the love letters, your sweet words that melted me every time they arrived. I have always been yours, Chase. It's just official now, I declare, gazing into her eyes. She beams with pride, leaning in to plant a gentle kiss on my lips, sealing our forever. Her kiss is so intense that it almost makes my knees give out. She chuckles and catches my waist, holding me steady. Promise me you won't stop writing to me, I demand, and she laughs, pulling me into another kiss. I promise, sweetheart, she vows, kissing me again. I wrap my arms around her as she picks me up and carries me to our bedroom, where I'll spend the rest of my days with Chase, my secret admirer. The end. This has been Secret Admirer by Jenna Kent, read for you by Tessa Stavers.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, lady listeners. Thank you so much to Jenna Kent for bringing us Secret Admirer. It was an absolute treat to have you on here with us today. Thank you again, and you're welcome to come back anytime. We loved you. So we hope you guys loved listening to Secret Admirer. And as I said earlier, make sure you check out her Women Loving Women Billionaire series along with her Working Women series. And if you want a book for free, if you want to keep going with Jenna Kent, you can go to her website and check out Bookworm on there. She's got it for free, and we'll have it all down in the show notes. But up next week, we have got a brand new book. This is when I wish I had a drum roll because I can't even remember.
I know it.
I know.
I know it.
Yes. Up next week, we have Cassie Mint. She has something sweet for us. Literally, it's called Something Sweet with Cassie Mint.
I love her stuff.
I know. She's a lot of fun. She's really sweet. She writes like very much like in her
Insta love like we do, but she always, I would say her heroines are a little bit more tough than ours. They've still got all that over the top stuff, but they've got a little bit of oomph to them a lot of times.
Yeah.
So
Ours are
I enjoy her a lot.
Yeah, ours are a little bit like, flighty, innocent, kind of like
dumb. Sometimes.
Yes. Sometimes, yes. Especially the book we're writing right now. This woman's an idiot.
Oh my God.
She's
I actually have something I want to talk to you about that when we're done.
Okay.
I forgot. I'm glad you said that.
Okay, we'll talk about it afterwards. But yeah, so we'll have Cassie up next week. So make sure you join us back. But that's it.
All right. Tell them what to do.
Fuck your day up. Make today your bitch. Don't be a dick.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Read me romance. Read me romance.